You're tuned in to The Real Deal on Real Estate, the podcast that connects investors to deals and partners to opportunities. I'm Kevin Bratch. Whether you're buying, building, lending, or flipping, we've got something here for you. Let's go. Welcome to another episode of The Real Deal on Real Estate podcast. So basically today what we're going to be going into is called the anatomy of an off-market deal. So basically in this episode, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through what exactly puts together a great deal. And I'm going to talk about a real deal that we just put together. And we're going to go through it from A to Z and let you guys kind of think about what exactly happened in this deal, why it makes sense, and why it was such a exciting deal to put together. So basically, what happened in this deal is, so it was a pre-foreclosure, and what exactly is a pre-foreclosure is somebody that's facing foreclosure, but they still own the property and they can still, make the decisions on the property. They're still the one that's on title, so they can sell, they can still refinance, they can still do a few different things before the bank takes over. That's basically the property when it's in pre-foreclosure. And then as it goes through the entire foreclosure process, by the end of it, basically the bank takes the title, the individual's credit is kind of ruined, and there's a bunch of different reasons and issues that happen throughout the entire foreclosure process. So me personally, and for the homeowner that's going through it, pre-foreclosure is the best because you're dealing directly with the homeowner, and they're able to make some decisions on the property that works best for them and also for the investor that's looking to pick up the property. So again, this property that we're dealing with, it was based in Abbotsford. It was a single family home, and basically what was happening is the individual was going through pre-foreclosure, entering the foreclosure process, and he was going down that route. Now, the backstory situation that kind of happened is he was off work. He's married and he's got 2 young kids. He is the sole breadwinner, and he was off work for some time. As a result, he was basically a long haul truck driver, and the industry slowed down quite a bit over the last little bit, and his income took a massive dive. And as a result of that, he was behind on a bunch of mortgage payments, and that's why the bank started the foreclosure process. However, the guy had a ton of equity in the deal. So the great thing is he was about 50% loan to value. So what exactly that means is, so if the property is worth $1 million, he had a $500,000 mortgage on it and $500,000 in equity. So he's 50% loan to value on the property. So he had about 500 grand in equity, and he owed about 500 grand. Now, the situation here was there's a bunch of equity, so that's a great thing because a lot of situations and some of these foreclosure deals is that a lot of these individuals don't have any equity, and it's a difficult deal to put together. Some people are actually underwater. There's a lot of people like that right now where they actually owe more than what their property is worth. So, that's a really tough situation. But in this particular deal that we were putting together in Abbotsford, there was about 50% loan to value. So when I spoke with the homeowner originally, I tried to figure out exactly what he's looking to do and how we can structure a deal that would work best for the investor we brought to the table and for the homeowner that's in the home. So for the homeowner that's in the home, the main thing they want to do is stop the foreclosure process as soon as possible. The longer it goes along, the worse their credit gets hit, so their credit score takes a massive dive, the more their equity gets eaten up by interest payments, lawyers, more fees that the bank puts on. So the longer they prolong it, they're losing a ton of equity. And that basically happens on a daily basis because there's something called like a per diem charge that the bank charges, and that's a per day interest rate. Along with, if the lawyers are filing foreclosure and the bank is going through the entire foreclosure process, there's a bunch of different paperwork, lawyers involved, things like that. And fees just continue to add up on a massive daily basis. So the quicker a homeowner can attack the foreclosure, stop the process, the better it is for that homeowner. So when we originally talked to the homeowner, we're like, all right, you're facing foreclosure, and the fastest thing we need to do is, first of all, stop the foreclosure process and put together something that works best for you. And what I can bring to the table is hopefully an investor that would want to jump on this deal and pick something up. Now, the marketplace right now, there are a lot of types of deals out there, and there's not as many investors and buyers, as a lot of people are somewhat scared of what's happening in the marketplace just because of what the media is putting out there, some of the people that have been losing money left, right, and center. However, if you are working with the right group, you could put together deals that you're still making money and you're doing well. So what essentially this homeowner wanted to do was, he had 2 young kids. He wanted to stay in the property because his kids were going to school, and he was looking for some sort of scenario so that he could possibly rent it back and turn into like a tenant, stay in the home. Now, they have been in this home for 10 years. So they know the area, the neighbors know them, all things like that. They wanted to keep things really quiet, private, so they don't have, their entire financial situation and things like that out in the public. So there's a lot of scenarios like this where, individuals like that do not want to deal with the typical real estate agent where they put a sign up in front of their house, do a bunch of open houses, things like that. They want to keep things private. They want to keep things discreet so they can get something done, just kind of behind closed doors. So this homeowner was looking to do a rent back and have his kids finish off school and things like that. And I've done a ton of these types of deals, and I kind of know how to structure them. I talked to the homeowner. I'm like, all right, well, this is kind of what we can do. We could do a rent back scenario where you sign a 1-year lease agreement with a potential investor. You're paying X amount of dollars in rent, and you can stay in the home and rent it back. Now, what I had tried to explain to the homeowner is, you got to understand, whoever's going to be jumping on this deal is going to have some fears in their mind, considering whether or not you're going to be able to pay the rent, because you've already gone into foreclosure. You weren't able to pay your mortgages. So what is the security that the investor is going to have that you're going to be able to pay rent? So what we were able to do is we were put together a deal where the homeowner, they were able to sell the property for below market value. The homeowner is like, all right, what I'll do is I'll take a bit of a hit on what the market value of my property is. So I'm giving the investor a bit of an advantage on the market value of the property, and I'm signing a 1-year lease. And basically from that 1-year lease, I'll be paying the monthly rent. And considering how much equity was in the property, I was able to put together the deal where the investor came in. They had the security that, okay, this homeowner is coming away with quite a bit of money when the sale happens. They'll have that money in their bank. They'll be able to pay the rent. And, depending on where the economy goes, hopefully his job picks up and the long haul trucking starts to go again quite well. And he should be able to, be in a better situation down the road. So maybe it's like a temporary relief situation. And that's exactly what we did. So what happened was, the homeowner, looking for a rent back scenario, was able to rent back the home for 1 year, and it's probably going to go even longer because we're a few months into the deal. The investor's happy. The homeowner that's facing foreclosure is happy. They want to stay in the property. From an investor standpoint, you got the homeowner that's renting the property back. So they're basically, the best tenant you can possibly have. They've been in the home for 10 years. They've already taken care of it themselves. They know the area. They know the home. They know everything about it. It's probably one of the best types of renters you can ask for because, they're treating it as their home, right? So you got that sort of thought process of like home ownership still there, even though they've transitioned to a tenant. So basically what happened is, now that the homeowner has turned into a renter, they're renting the property back. The investor was able to pick up the deal below market value. And now they got the homeowner in there that's a tenant. And it's a win-win for everybody involved. And now from when I checked back in with the investor recently, and actually with the homeowner, is, both parties are quite happy. The 1 year, eventually when it comes up down the road, most likely it'll just roll into a month-to-month, and maybe they'll sign another 1 year because everything seems to be going well. The kids are able to continue going to school in the area. None of his neighbors, nobody in the family, nobody knows exactly what's happening behind closed doors on their finances. And the homeowner is able to pull out a ton of money in their equity. So they got a large sum of money sitting in their bank account, so they don't have to worry. They're quite safe and secure on that level. They're not worried about any major things coming down the road. And from the investor standpoint, they got somebody in the property that's basically looking after it as their home, and there's less risk on their level because now you got somebody that's in the property that's looking after it as if it's, their home, which it actually was for 10 years, even though the transaction just took place now that the investor has taken over, but it's still a scenario where they're secure. Everybody in the entire deal is quite happy, and we're able to facilitate a deal like that where the investor literally got a turnkey, fantastic investment where they're able to pick up this property below market value. They got their rent coming in. They're making decent money on their monthly payments. They got somebody that's in the property that's taking care of it from a perspective of being a homeowner. And then the homeowner is quite grateful because we're able to solve their scenario of stopping their foreclosure, saving their credit where it doesn't get completely trashed, and they're able to, alleviate a lot of the stress from the financial situation and now focus back in on building themselves up because they have a ton of money in the bank and now they can focus in on working and things like that. And these are the types of scenarios that we see quite a bit, especially in the foreclosure space and distressed properties, is like an individual just kind of came into something that was outside of their, which is outside of their control, something that happened maybe in their workspace, something that happened sometimes in their health, maybe a divorce and things like that. And in those types of scenarios, they're looking for some financial relief, some sort of deal that would alleviate the current stress and put together something that they could move forward with. And that's what we're able to do in this particular situation. So to summarize the deal so you guys kind of understand how it all worked, it was a rent back scenario on a foreclosure deal where the homeowner that's going into foreclosure was looking to rent it back. They switched into a tenant and they rented the property back, and now the investor picked up the property where they were able to buy it below market value, and now they have the homeowner in the property as a tenant renting the property back. Both parties are very happy, and moving forward, everything looks quite good. And these are the types of deals that we're structuring in the off-market real estate opportunity space. And if you're interested in these types of deals, again, these are the types of deals that we put together. Listen to the outro, visit our website, and we'd love to be working with you as well, whether you're on the selling side looking for some relief in terms of your financial situation, or you're on the investing side looking to invest in these types of properties. So this was basically an episode about the anatomy of a deal, how these off-market deals are structured, what they're all about, how to go about doing them, and what types of scenarios kind of work. I'm going to be doing quite a bit of episodes on these types of deals. We put a ton of these together. We work with a lot of different individuals. And if you have anything like this that you're looking for some help with, reach out to us. And if you're looking to invest in these types of deals, also reach out, and we're always looking for people to work with that we can put some fantastic things together. Thanks a lot for listening to this episode. Real estate is my sport, and the real game is played off market. If you're ready to play at that level, apply for access at kevinbratch.com. This has been The Real Deal on Real Estate. Talk soon.